Hi friends, welcome to Active Self-Protection Extra. I have a treat today. I just got done with SP5 Armorer with Bob Schultz, the Director of Training here at HK USA. And so the SP5, like the MP5, like the G3, like several of the guns in HK's arsenal, is a roller delayed blowback design. And I asked the master to come and explain just the principle, the operating principle of how this works, so that you can understand why it makes the SP5 such a soft shooting gun. Palm pepper spray has recently reformulated for even more effect when you bless the deserving with the hot sauce. Palm is what I use between a harsh word and a gun, and encourage everyone to do likewise. So, Bob, I said this on my personal Facebook, that what an incredible system, a feat of physics, really.
In all physics, yeah.
And now in a modern context, labor intensive, and expensive components and those kinds of things, which is why, HK guns aren't cheap, those things. But can you give us a little bit of an understanding of what the operating principle of a roller delayed blowback is?
Oh, certainly. Well, after firing, you want to think of the cartridge case as a gas-operated piston being thrust back into the bolt component. So they've identified the bolt head with green, and then the locking piece with yellow, and the carrier orange. As the energy is transmitted from the cartridge case to the bolt, we utilize the rollers right over here as energy vectors to transmit the energy in unequal amounts to two distinct points inside the gun. The locking piece right over here, and then the trunnion, also referred to as the barrel extension, right back over here.
So I'm going to translate a little bit of that into English for you, because that was awesome. Now this is what's going on. What you have here is you have a little physics that happens here. We have a boom. This is actually my test here. We'll see if Bob agrees with how I explain this. Bullet goes out that side. Guess what? Physics takes over and Newton's second law shows up. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. We have this huge pressure wave here, which pushes that case backwards like a piston. That is going to then push this whole green thing, the bolt head backwards, including the bolt head carrier, all the other stuff. But to slow it down, because you want to keep as much pressure in here as you can until the bullet leaves. Right? Once a bullet's gone, you don't care. You just want a new bullet in there as fast as you can. But while it's still in there, these little rollers hold off on this trunnion, which is like an extension of the barrel, and they kind of just push on the edge a little bit, and it takes them a little bit to move in, because they will roll in to the middle. But in that time, it delays the blowback.
Correct. And also, too, you have to remember that this was initially set up for the G3, which is 7.62 by 51. One of the limitations for shoulder-fired weapons on what we call simple or inertia or straight blowback is that for shoulder-fired weapons, you're usually limited to pistol cartridges only. The information that we gave in the marketing for the G3, if the G3 were simple blowback, as opposed to this system right over here, on a simple blowback, you're just dependent on the weight and mass of the bolt.
Just the mass.
And to a lesser extent, the inertia of the recoil spring, but much lesser. The bolt, not the gun, but the bolt itself would have to weigh in excess of 10 kilos.
So just the bolt would have to be 22 plus pounds.
Correct, yeah.
Let alone the gun, okay? And I know some HK guns are a little bit heavy, but not that heavy, okay? That's a little bit much. So this little system of delaying the physics gives us a gun that accomplishes that same thing, but in a much lighter package.
Yeah.
And I also think, do you think, and I'm not a physicist, guys. I took a year of physics in college in my engineering studies, that this is, well, because it's not a hard place, but it's a rolled system and a roller system that seems to, rather than jerk that the bolt out, it kind of rolls it out. So it kind of starts it a little softer, and so it ends a little softer.
Yeah, on the recoil force back, it's a complete linear system as it goes from front to back, unlike a rotary bolt locking system, which the energy is transmitted from side to side. And then during the opening, extracting, and ejecting cycle, all these stress points right under here are under constant tension. So theoretically, you avoid some of the peak pressure values, again, on some of the operating systems.
Yes, so you can see it kind of come down into here, the rollers, then as it rolls back, then as it rolls in, it kind of sets back in and out, and that gives it, again, this idea that it's a little softer. And I don't know, I find my SP5 shoots softer than any other 9mm subgun on the market. So now you know how it works. Now, if you wanted to know all these pieces, parts, how to take them apart, put them together, this is the guy to teach it to you. Certainly not me. And guess what? You come to SP5 Armor class.
Yeah.
And you do those all over the country?
Yeah.
What's the place people go to find one?
Well, we're on our website at www.hkusa.com under the training banner on the top of the title page.
So come train with HK. I'm trying to convince him to maybe come to Phoenix and do a P30 armorers class. Keep up in the loop and maybe we'll make it happen. Bob, really appreciate the
Oh, thank you very much, sir.